Welcome to the 5-Minute Youth Ministry Coach, practical insight and encouragement to help you lead students well. This is episode 6 in our foundation series, and I gotta be honest, this one might take a couple minutes more than 5 minutes, but it's incredibly important. This one is all about protecting our students. One of the most sacred responsibilities that we carry in youth ministry is to protect students that God has entrusted us with. So today we're going to talk about 4 ways that we must protect students, not just physically, but also emotionally, spiritually, and relationally. And while this episode just scratches the surface, it's why we require all of our leaders to go through a criminal background check, a child predator safety class, and a follow-up test to make sure that we understand the weight of what we're doing. So let's quickly jump into 4 ways to protect students. Number 1, we want to protect students physically. Safety is the bare minimum of stewardship. And so these are some of the ways we do that. Every adult who serves in youth ministry must be background checked, no exceptions. We follow the 2 adult or 3 total people rule in every environment. So what that means is no isolated one-on-one situations behind closed doors. And we've put windows in all of the rooms to try to eliminate hidden spaces. But you need to be on guard and protect, even if there is a window. If you have to have an isolated conversation with a student, do it in a larger room, not behind closed doors. Believe it or not, check-in time is an important part of our student safety. I can't get into all the details right now, but we need to make sure that every student attending is in our system, and we want them linked to their household, even if their parents don't come. That way we can contact mom or dad if something happens and there's an emergency. You also need to understand mandatory report laws. Every state is different, but here in Florida, statute 39.201 requires that any person who knows or has reasonable cause to suspect that a child is being abused, abandoned, or neglected has to report it to the Florida Abuse Hotline. So this applies regardless of profession, not just to teachers, doctors, and pastors. Every adult in Florida is legally obligated, and failure to report is a criminal offense and can result in a misdemeanor charge or worse, depending on the circumstances. Beyond the legal aspect, though, we have a moral and biblical mandate to stand up for the most vulnerable among us. If you're in a situation and you don't know whether it crosses a line or a threshold, talk to your youth pastor, talk to your senior pastor, and get some extra wisdom on that decision. So number 2, we want to protect students emotionally. Ministry should be a place where students feel safe, not ashamed. So we want to create a no mockery, no bullying culture, especially from the stage or especially in public things. Humor never justifies humiliation. And I know I have to watch that because I have a pretty quick wit, and I want to be careful that I don't say something that crushes a student and then I never think about it again. We don't want to minimize students' feelings or wounds. Listen first, fix later, or don't fix at all. You probably can't fix a lot of this stuff, but you can listen. You want to be cautious with sensitive topics. You want to lead with grace and context. We'll get into deeper training on that on other episodes, but you want to be careful and cautious with sensitive topics, and especially topics that come up in a group setting. And emotional safety opens the door for spiritual honesty for kids. If they feel emotionally safe, they'll start to get spiritually honest with it. And without it, walls go up really fast. So we've talked about physical protection and emotional protection. Spiritually, we want to protect the kids as well. So students should be challenged but not coerced in their faith. We teach the truth boldly. We don't couch it. We don't hide behind it. We don't lower it, but we also don't want to manipulate responses. So I'm going to teach firmly about salvation, firmly about the gospel, firmly about hell, but I'm not going to emotionally manipulate a response. I don't want to sound like a used car salesman trying to close a deal. We want to avoid emotional hype and shame-based tactics to drive decisions. We want to make room for questions and doubts and processing faith over time. Sometimes it takes some time for kids to get it, and we want to make sure they know that's okay. We want to lead them to Jesus and not just moral behavior. And we want to remind them often that God's grace covers their journey, not shame. And remember that you can't save a person and you can't change a heart. Only the Holy Spirit can. He doesn't need us to manipulate kids on his behalf. And that is so freeing. I can say the truth. I can say the truth in love. I can try to love as great as I can, but it's not about me or you coming up with the perfect words. And if we have the perfect words, somebody will respond to Jesus. It's a work of the Holy Spirit. We don't have to spiritually manipulate. So that's physically, emotionally, and spiritually. Last, let's talk about protecting students relationally. Healthy boundaries have to be kept in ministry. So here's some principles and some guidelines. Never communicate something to a student that you would be ashamed or embarrassed for somebody else to hear. Always just assume that somebody else is listening. Obviously, God's listening, but if you just assume somebody else is listening, then that helps you with a radar of what should be shared. When giving rides, make sure that every parent knows if you're giving their kid a ride, and avoid situations where you're driving members of the opposite sex alone. With social media, my big advice is just, first off, don't have social media. Secondly, my advice is just stay away from following students on social media. I understand if you're a parent, you might have a vested interest in following your child's social media account. But in general, you're just going to be better off the less connected on social media you are with students. And our church mandate is no messaging within apps, no disappearing DMs, and never delete a text that you have with a student. We're kind of in an age and day where there's going to be text message between student leaders and students. Just pay for that cloud storage, save your text messages. This protects you and it protects them. I have no worries ever about any parent, pastor, or police reading any text message I've ever sent to a student. And I saved every one of them to protect myself and protect them. Physical contact should be above reproach. It's hard to go into micro detail in a short podcast, but in general, side hugs, fist bumps, high fives, and appropriate pats on the backs and shoulders will keep everybody safe. And be careful that you're not that creepy, touchy person. Part of a relational protection is also remember that you're their leader first, not their friend. Hopefully you become friends with them at some point, but you are their leader first, not their friends. You don't need to be the fun girl or the cool guy. And the closer you are to them in age, the more you need to remember that there is an age and power distance between you and them. You're not a youth group member anymore. You're a youth leader, and you should act like one. Students thrive when they know that the adults in their lives are safe, consistent, and submitted to oversight. And so those fences and boundaries we put around ourselves help protect students and help them know that they're protected. So listen, students aren't going to remember every game or lesson, but they will remember if they felt safe. Your leadership, your humility, and vigilance can protect a student from harm and help them feel secure enough to encounter Jesus. So let's do the work to protect them well. It's worth every ounce of preparation and every ounce of prayer. Hey, I'm Jay Holland, and this has been your 5-minute youth ministry coach. Remember, in addition to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube, you can find each of these episodes at www.youthministry.coach, where you'll also find them in blog form if you prefer reading over listening. And if you think this is helpful, please share it with another ministry or another youth worker so that they're blessed as well. Have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.